Alright, hi guys. This video is the practice problems for the first week of solving rational equations. All of these practice problems are on the last page of the notes that you should have gotten for this week's material. As always, I'm going to strongly encourage you to try the practice problems first before you watch this video. This video should be used to check your work, to answer any remaining questions that you have, but after you've tried it yourself. Remember, the way that we learn math is by doing math, okay? So let's go ahead and start with number one. All of these problems are directions here, although it is not stated, is to solve for x. And for all of these problems, we're going to do that using cross multiplication. So here we go. We've got negative 3 times 15 equals 6 times 4x. And so we get negative 3 times 15 is negative 45. 6 times 4x is 24x because 6 times 4 is 24. We are going to divide both sides here by 24. And then when you put that in your calculator, you see that it works out that it is a decimal. So again, if it is a decimal, you can leave it just as a fraction. So in this case, negative 45 divided by 24. Or you can actually put that in your calculator, and the decimal version is negative 1.875. Either way, those are our answers. That's x. All right, number 2, 25 times 4 equals x times x. This is similar to, I believe, number 9 from our notes. Whoops. Because we have an x times an x here. So we get 25 times 4 is 100. X times x is x squared. Again, we have a quadratic here. So our ultimate goal here is to solve for x. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this with our solving by square roots method from our quadratics unit. We are going to take the square root of each side here. Whenever we take a square root, we need to make sure we put plus or minus. So this is plus or minus the square root of 100. And then the square root and the square here are inverses, so they undo each other. So that's x. Then we think about, okay, is 100 a perfect square? And it is. The square root of 100 is 10, so we get plus or minus 10 equals x. Number 3, we've got x times 23, or 23x, equals 2 times negative 3x. So 23x is 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, negative 6x. Now this is similar to another problem that we did on our notes, where we've got x's on both sides. We did a couple of these actually, where we've got x's on both sides. So we cannot divide by anything here, including x. What we're going to do instead is we're going to add 6x to each side here. 23x plus 6x is 29x. The negative 6x and the positive 6x cancel, and that equals 0. And then we can solve for x by dividing both sides by 29. So x equals 0 divided by 29, which is 0. All right, number 4, x minus 6 times 9, or 9 times x minus 6 equals 11 times 5. We're going to distribute here. 9 times x is 9x. 9 times negative 6 is negative 54. If you don't know that, please use your calculator. Now we need to get 9x by itself and ultimately x by itself. So I'm going to add 54 to each side here. These cancel. 9x is 109. 55 plus 54 is 109. And then we are going to divide both sides by 9 here. And when I do that in my calculator, I see that I get a decimal, specifically a repeating decimal. So I'm going to say that x is 109 divided by 9, which is my preferred. Or if you want to make it into a decimal, I'm going to round to 3 decimal places, 12.111. Number 5, we've got negative 8 times 19 equals x plus 12 times 10, 10 times x plus 12. So we've got negative 8 times 19. If you put that in your calculator, that's negative 152. We distribute the 10 here. 10 times x is 10x. 10 times 12 is 120. Our goal here is to get x by itself, so I'm going to get rid of the 120 here by subtracting 120 from each side. So I get negative 272 equals 10x. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 10. Again here, I'm going to get a decimal. So I'm going to either leave this as a fraction, negative 272 divided by 10, or I will put that in my calculator, get a decimal, which is negative 27.2. All right, and we've got our last two problems here. So we'll cross multiply 5 times x minus 1 equals x plus 1 times 4, or 4 times x plus 1. I'm going to distribute on both sides here. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 1 is 4. Here we've got x's and numbers on both sides. What I'm going to do in this case, and again, it could be opposite, it doesn't really make a difference, but to me what makes the most sense is to actually put the numbers on the right-hand side and the x's on the left. So I'll start with the numbers. I'm going to add 5 to each side here. So 5x equals 4x plus 9. And then I'm going to subtract 4x from each side. 5x minus 4x is 1x. And 1x is the same as x, so x is 9. Those cancel here, those cancel here. All right, last problem, cross multiplying. We've got 4x minus 5 times 7, or 7 times 4x minus 5. Makes it easier to distribute when I put it like that. And then 4 times 20x plus 1. Distribute here. 7 times 4x is 28x. 7 times negative 5 is negative 35. 4 times 20x is 80x. 4 times 1 is 4. In this case, you could kind of go either way. What I'll do here is I will subtract 4 from each side. So I get 28x minus negative 35 minus 4 is negative 39. Again, if you're not sure, put it into your calculator. And that equals 80x, where the 4's here canceled. And then here I will subtract 28x from each side. The 28x's here cancel, so I get negative 39 equals 80x minus 28x, which is 52x. And we'll divide both sides by, 52 to get x by itself, which is again a decimal. So you can leave this as negative 39 over 52, or turn it into a decimal, which is negative 0.75. You may notice here that 0.75 is 3/4, so this could also be written as negative 3/4. Alright, so that is it for the practice problems for this week's material on solving rational equations. We're going to continue solving rational equations next week, so please make sure that you're understanding what's going on this week so that you'll have a really good foundation for when we build on it next week. As always, if you have questions, please contact your individual teacher. Have a wonderful day.